The Marvel Cinematic Universe. This was something that if you would have told me was going to happen when I was a kid in the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, I would have told you you're full of shit. No way anything that awesome would happen. It just, the concept of it alone was such an undertaking, was such a risk. And thank God they did it. I know there's definitely people out there who hate the slew of superhero movies and they wish they'd go away and die. That mentality to me has never made any fucking sense at all. If you don't like something, ignore it. There's plenty of other media out there for you to consume. So anyone who's begging for Walking Dead to be canceled or the MCU to die or whatever band or whatever anything, let people enjoy themselves. Let people like what they like. Get a fucking life, okay? That is so stupid. So anyone who's down on the MCU, it's fine if you don't like it. There's nothing wrong with that. You like what you like, but people are, oh, just, God, would they please stop? They announced another Walking Dead series today. And people are just in the comments like, can they just please stop? Fucking go away. Please stop. It's like, please stop. Why? Why does it affect you? They could make 600 Walking Dead shows. Why does that affect you? I could understand if they were like, hey, we're canceling your favorite show to get funding to fund another Walking Dead show. And that's the only show that we're going to be playing on this channel from now on. And it's the only channel you have. Then I'd be like, dude, that sucks. Fuck The Walking Dead, man. If you're not into it, that sucks, because, whatever. Anyway, okay, that's not what I'm here to talk about, but I have to address this because I see so much of it all the time, and the MCU is one of those things. People call out superhero movies. Oh, they're ruining cinema. No, they're not. There's 1,000 other movies released every fucking month. And you can watch any one of them. You don't have to fucking be forced to go to these. There's plenty of other movies in the theaters all the time. I promise you. I see a ton of them. Anyway, all right. So the MCU. Wow. Just as I said before, incredible. Just an incredible thing to do. And it really just revolutionized cinema and storytelling. And essentially what we have is we have a television series on the big screen, and each episode of that television series is like 150 to $300 million a piece. And they have branch offs and spin-offs and all these things, and they all connect together, and all the storylines match up, and they have, television series spin-offs from the Netflix series, with Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and Luke Cage and the Defenders and Punisher. And then you got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you got Agent Carter, and you got all these other things that are supposedly all supposed to be part of the MCU. They don't really follow the television series all that well, to be honest. So that is kind of a slip up on their part, but whatever. It's cool that it's there. It's cool that Agent Coulson got his own show and all this stuff. It's cool. I wish it would have been a little more, entangled in any of the storylines. Like I would have loved at the end of Infinity War. Spoilers if you haven't seen Infinity War for some fucking reason. But during the snap, if, a season of whatever would have had people fade out into it. I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't know if that happened in there. I doubt it. But yeah, I do love all that. And I love this stuff. So let's talk about Iron Man. Now, Iron Man is a movie. I've seen every MCU movie opening day. I think I saw, at least opening weekend for sure on all of them. Maybe a couple of them I had to wait till the next day or something. But, I think that's still opening day because I usually go Thursday night instead of Friday. So I think I always do see it on opening day or the night before. But yeah, I've seen every one of them in theaters opening day because I'm a lunatic like that. Robert Downey Jr. Now, here's another huge risk. Not only are they starting a Marvel Cinematic Universe trying to do the Avengers thing, but they took on Robert Downey Jr., which now everyone's like, oh, Robert Downey Jr., he's fucking Tony Stark. He's the man. He's like, the sure thing. Not when he was cast in this role. This guy was in and out of rehabs and had horrible drug problems and was just a total fuck up. And them casting him in this role, he's perfect for the role. I mean, it was smart that they did, but it was a big risk because people were like, they put a lot of pressure on this being the first movie that was going to lead into the Hulk, Thor, Captain America and whatnot, and be that hinge-pin for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm glad they did that. And then they took Jon Favreau as well and threw him in charge of this movie. And a lot of risks, but what an incredible payoff. This movie holds up every time. I've seen this movie probably 10 times now over the years, somewhere in that area. And every time it's just a great flick. It's just a great origins movie with fantastic characters, and CGI doesn't feel dated at all. I mean, almost nothing. I was watching real close, like, this all looks really good still. Wow, this is incredible. I do like, how Tony kind of changes throughout the movie, but not at his core. Like, he's still the arrogant rich boy. He still has the Tony behavior. It's not like he completely turns. Because Tony Stark and Iron Man's character is so drastically different from anything else that we get in superheroes, for the most part. Most people don't want the power. Stoney actually has to make and create the power. That's one huge difference. A lot of superheroes are unwillingly put into becoming a superhero by, all sorts of different, all the stories. But they're unwilling participants. Captain America obviously signed up for the super soldier thing, but for the most part, most people get their powers without their desire, and then they reject them, and they have this whole moment where they're like, I don't want these powers, it's a curse, and this and that. Not Tony. Tony very much. But he's in a dire situation that he has to get himself out of. So the birth of Iron Man comes from a place of trying for self-preservation, but through that journey, he realizes what he has done with his life and seeks to rectify that in the only way he knows how, by inventing his way around it and out of it, which makes total sense. But he is a total piece of shit in the opening of this movie. You can just tell he's a womanizer, which a womanizer isn't a bad thing altogether. It's just the way he does it is not exactly ideal. And he doesn't really think about the effects that he's having on selling all these weapons at all, and this shit is shoved in his face, especially when the Stark missile hits right next to him, which, does that Stark missile do much? Because he's right next to that thing when it blows up, and it barely does anything. There's a little bit of shrapnel in his chest. That thing should have ripped his entire body apart. There shouldn't have been anything left of Tony Stark with a missile hitting that close to him, but I guess that was the idea behind that bomb. I don't know what the hell that missile was, but just the growth of Tony in this movie, but ultimately he's kind of the same arrogant jackass at the end. I love it, and as I said, not only does he seek out this power and gets it and always likes having it, but he never feels burdened by it in this movie. And at the end of the movie, much like there's no other fucking movie like this where he just comes right out, and at the end he's just like, you know what? I am Iron Man. And I love that. That separates him so drastically. And yes, he doesn't think of the consequences. He's so foolhardy in that way. He just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't think of the consequences. He's, an act now, ask questions later kind of guy. And yeah, of course, that's going to put Pepper and all of his fucking friends and everybody in danger. But that's not Tony's mindset in that moment. It's just he's so arrogant. He's so self-confident. He's so into himself, He's such a complex, great character, and Robert Downey Jr. plays him perfectly. I mean, there really is no better person to play him, in my opinion. And Iron Man was a comic that I grew up with, and I'm really glad that they addressed that Tony Stark is a total full-blown alcoholic in this and other movies. One of my favorite comics growing up was the Demon in a Bottle issue. where Tony Stark's like a fucking raging alcoholic. But yeah, no, it's a perfect freaking portrayal by him. And Jeff Bridges. Obviously, we have kind of the throwaway villain here, the terrorist, the stock terrorist villain. And then we find out that Obadiah is the real villain in this. And you have Jeff Bridges in a movie. Use him, and they think they use him pretty well. A lot of people always complain about the MCU with how the villains are lacking. And I don't feel that here. I mean, yeah, he's technically, underused and kind of stock, but it's Jeff Bridges, so his performance is great. And even in the next movie, you got Mickey Rourke. In the next movie, you got Guy Pearce. So you got 3 fucking great actors playing the villains here. So whether or not their characters were written all that well, they all give very good performances, especially Mickey Rourke in the next one. We're going to talk about that when I get to Iron Man 2. I am trying to knock all of these out before Infinity War, besides Captain Marvel, because that's in theaters. I already saw it. I talked about it a little on the channel. I don't know if I'll be able to get them all done, but I'll try. I'm watching them with my kids. How exciting is that? It's been really cool. Another problem here, Terrence Howard, not another problem, but another thing that happened was Terrence Howard. It's weird to watch it and it's like, oh, Rhodey. Oh yeah, that's right, you're Rhodey in this movie. So, obviously when Don Cheadle takes his place in the next movie, it's kind of jarring, but I guess he wanted more money than it was possible. He wanted more than Robert Downey Jr. or something I had read. I don't know how true all that is, but yeah, fucking right. And I like the bio in the opening to introduce Tony Stark and kind of give us an idea of who he is through a montage of these clips, and it ends up being an award that he's being presented. That's a very smart way to introduce the character organically into the film, as opposed to other ways that I've seen it in movies where it's just kind of shoehorned in and somebody has to be like reading his stats off of a piece of paper. It just feels very, I don't know, forced. And this awards thing in the opening, it plays so many different ways. It plays to show us who he is and what he went through, and it also shows that he doesn't even show up for it. He doesn't give a shit. He's an asshole. That was a great way to open the movie. And oh man, freaking Leslie Bibb, the hot ass reporter here that he takes home at night. Pepper Potts, here we go. Freaking Gwyneth Paltrow. She plays this well. They play off of each other very well. I really like her character. I really like her. Another great character, another great bit of casting there, and I'm glad that she stuck around. There's been some ladies in this series characters have gotten with. Liv Tyler obviously never came back, nor did Edward Norton. Freaking Natalie Portman. You got these love interests that don't really reprise their roles. Good thing Gwyneth Paltrow stayed around for this character. She's kind of been one of those rocks of the franchise as a love interest anyway. Unless it's like a built-in character that also is a main character like Gamora or something, but that's kind of different. And yeah, like the way Tony talks about stuff when she's talking about the Pollock that he could have, he's like, buy it, I need it, store it. Like, he needs it. He's such a child. He's a child with an unlimited amount of money. He doesn't know why he needs it, but he does, and he's just going to throw it in storage. He's not going to put it on his walls. He's not going to fucking do anything with it. You could be like, oh, it's just an investment. It's like an investment. This guy's a multi-billionaire. He doesn't need to invest in shit. He's just buying it because he wants to consume and he wants to own everything. That's where he gets his happiness. He tries to buy everything to try to get happiness, and that does not work. Listen to Tony Robbins. He'll tell you all about it. I sure listen to the guy way too much. And the stripper pole on the plane. There you go. There's another clue there. Yeah, he gets the shrapnel in the heart, and this guy that he uses, whatever the hell the guy's name is, Yinsen, I think is how you say it. That guy's a hero. I feel like Tony should give way more thanks to that guy in this movie and future movies, because that guy saved his life a couple times. He sacrificed his life, and his story is super sad. Like, he tells him, like, I need to be with my family. And then when he goes to die at the end, he's like, I got to help you. And he's like, no, this was always the plan. My family's been dead this entire time. I was always meaning to die. And he also says, I want this. He's dying. He's sitting there. I want this. That's sad. In action and comic book movies, you don't get true drama like that. And for me, it really hits the heartstrings there. It's like tugs at them. It's just like, fuck, dude, this guy saved your life. He was going to be tortured to help you when, what you were trying to do was deceive them. And who knows what that guy could have done. He risks being tortured, and then he runs out, buys him time, and gives up his life so that he can be with his family, and says that was his plan all along. I don't know, it's just really sad. And he's a great freaking little mini character that just doesn't get anywhere near enough attention for being the hero that he is. I feel like Tony should have given him a little more credit. Maybe he mentions him in Iron Man 2 or 3 or something. I don't think he does, but I'll see. I'm paying much closer attention to these movies this time around. But yeah, he comes back a total changed man, wants to shut down the weapons factory and all that. And of course, a weapons factory that doesn't make weapons is not going to do so well. First of everything, anything we see in this movie is the first of anything. First time we see Phil Coulson here, really cool. Shield, the first time we get to hear that name, and we're like, what the hell is this long ass name? The whole montage of him building the suit is just great. Just all around great. Him flying in, taking the guys out, shooting the tank, having little, predator aimers, hits all the guys, they all fall, drop dead, and then he has that one, like, lackey guy that he leaves for the townspeople to just rip apart. What a grisly death I'm sure that guy had to have happen to him. Tony definitely kills some people in this movie. There was absolutely no disputing that. So, Captain America and other guys are like, I don't kill. Well, Tony kills. And Tony lets people be killed by angry mobs of people. So they probably tore him apart like a freaking zombie apocalypse horde. And where the hell am I? Way down here. Oh, shit. We got Stan Lee's cameo here as Hugh Hefner, which is funny because in the next one it's Larry King. So I thought those were pretty funny to have him play those two characters, since he kind of does resemble them in his older age there. Really funny. He flies across the world so fast, so fucking fast. He does go supersonic, but I don't know. The fact that he seems to have no issues, I feel like the second movie, we'll get into the second movie. I'm not going to talk about it here. I'll try to remember that for the second movie. The sexual tension between Pepper and Tony in this movie is great. I really like the way they play off of each other. Their romance definitely works for me. The hearing tech is pretty nuts when Obadiah takes that stuff and he puts it to Tony's ear, he puts it to the other terrorist guy's ear. That's a gnarly ass tech, man. You can't defend yourself against that at all. I dig that one. And Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. That just reminds me of this old YouTube channel I used to watch. There was this girl I had the biggest crush on. It's called Hey Ash, What You Playing? Ever heard of that? It's a gamer thing. Oh my god, I crushed on this girl so hard to this point of almost stalkery. No, full stalkery. I found out she lived in my state in Arizona and was like freaking out, like, oh my god, this is destined to be. And I actually found out her dad hung out at Fuddruckers, and there's only a few Fuddruckers down here, and I heard he hung out all the time. Now I'm really sounding creepy. I'm really never like this, I swear. But yeah, I had a huge crush on this girl. Anyways, they do a joke about that. But that scene always does make me laugh. Well, sir, I'm not Tony Stark. No one is. It's kind of sad to watch Terrence Howard's Rhodey look at what will become War Machine and be like, next time, baby. And it's like, no, not for you. Don Cheadle, yes. but not for you. I don't know. Something about that. I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. I guess you should have taken less money. You would be making more money now. But he probably didn't know what was to come. Or maybe more happened than that. I don't know. I don't really care about behind the scenes stuff all that much. Then S.H.I.E.L.D. comes in to help Pepper, which is kind of fun. We can see how little S.H.I.E.L.D. is at this point. How, they need the Avengers' help for sure. Because Coulson comes in with a couple fucking normal, random, like, Secret Service kind of guys. And they don't really do shit. Bigger is not better, Obadiah. Just because you have a fucking bigger suit don't mean it's better. As I said, the CGI in this is great. The fight with the villain here, Obadiah's big old thing here, when they go up into space and cracks it, and then they catch the family in the car and they're throwing each other around and they punch it. It's a good fight sequence. It's good. I dig it. And then the whole I am Iron Man, I already addressed that. It's awesome. And we only get one after credit sequence here. Only one. And it's Nick Fury introducing the Avengers Initiative. So this is before the post credits and then the post credit sequence. But let's move on.